Hello, welcome back. Today we're talking about recovery. Let's go. The three pillars of recovery are going to be sleep, hydration, and diet. These are the first three things that we're going to look at when trying to improve, trying to recover better, trying to be more efficient in our recovery, and just overall improve our performance. Sleep is one of the biggest pieces of our recovery simply because this is our body's time to rest and repair itself. So when we're sleeping, we are relaxed, our brain is recovering, kind of repairing itself, our muscles are recovering and repairing themselves through blood flow. There's a lot of these recovery processes that only happen while we're sleeping. So it's important to get enough rest. The duration of our sleep is also extremely important. So we want to be sleeping very often and quite a bit. Some of the best athletes in the world sleep anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, maybe even more. And this is just their way of getting their body to naturally recover, naturally replenish everything and get them back to baseline so that they can be their best. If you can only sleep 8 hours, then get your 8 hours in. Go about your day, and if you have time, take a nap, take a nap. Or if you sleep 10 hours and you're tired and you feel like you need a nap, take a nap. Naps are going to be really important to get enough sleep and sleep when you're tired. That's your body's way of telling you that you need some rest, you need that recovery time. So take a nap. And especially if you are an athlete and you're working out and you're working out hard, not only does sleep help boost our recovery and boost our readiness and make us better to perform, but sleep deprivation negates all the things that we are normally able to do at our baseline. If my baseline is I can bench 135 pounds and I don't sleep, I sleep 5 hours less than what I normally do the night before, studies show that I won't be able to bench press that 135 pounds. I might only be able to bench press 125 pounds, for example. And so our strength, our reaction speed, amongst other performance issues, all decline with sleep deprivation in comparison to when we get a full night's of sleep. We want to be fully hydrated and ready to take on the day. Hydration is going to help big time with performance as well, making sure your body has what it needs to perform at the highest level when you're pushing it. Hydration is also going to help lower your risk of injury. This is very important simply because if you're healthy, you can be on the field and you can play and you can continue to improve your skills versus when you're hurt, you're just trying to rehab and recover. We want to be giving our body the fuel that it needs. There should be a healthy mix of our vegetables and fruits, along with carbs, things like potatoes and pastas, breads. And our proteins are typically our meats. Fats are the other important thing. Good fats are things like nuts and seeds and oils. So olive oil, almonds, cashews, peanuts, things like that are going to be really good fat, and peanuts and things like that will have the protein also. Make sure we're giving the body the fuel that it needs to perform at the elite level. After we've mastered those three things, now we can move on to the actual physically recovering part that you might have had in mind when you're clicking on this video. So when we're thinking about recovery, there's a reason why we're doing that. And typically we are coming off of a game, we're sore, we're tired, something might be tight. And so the differences when I'm referencing these things are sore is going to be a more general area, like, oh, my forearm is sore. It's sore in this area. Tight is going to be a restrictive thing. It's going to feel like, oh, I might need a stretch to get this loosened up. And hurt is something entirely different, where there's a stabbing pain. It's very, very specific area. You might say like, oh, my forearm hurts. It's going to be that area hurts. This is very specific, pinpoint stabbing. So when you know the difference between, then you can figure out what actions you need to take to recover your body back to baseline and continue to increase your performance. In my opinion, the best ways of recovery are the least invasive, meaning that if I can do it naturally or with as little impact on my body to either damage it further or delay some of that recovery time, I'm going to do that first. And then if I need the more aggressive ways of recovery, then we'll go into those as needed. But always starting on the lower end of how hard it is on your body, moving into the more aggressive forms of recovery. So the first thing that's super important is just to simply move. We want blood flow. So movement is just getting our blood flow, getting the nutrients to the damaged muscles and tissues to get everything back to our baseline. Zach DeChant is the strength and conditioning coach for TCU baseball. He has a bunch of really, really good stuff. He has movement things on his Twitter page. Go give him a follow and you'll be able to see what they're doing at that level and kind of emulate some of those things that might help you. Along the lines of the movement idea is just cardio. So we're going to increase our heart rate, so we're increasing our blood flow to the rest of our body. And those things can look like biking or running or jogging. Sprints are really, really good. So these things are going to increase our heart rate with the idea that we're getting all the nutrition that we had just eaten from our diet, and we're going to get all those nutrients into our muscles and help them recover. And this is done on your day after you would pitch or your high intensity day. Another thing I really like is heat. So I like to heat. It's going to vasodilate, so meaning all your veins and arteries inside of your body, they constrict and open up as you do different exercises, or if you're sleeping, or different scenarios and different states in your body. So heat is going to help open up these veins and arteries so to get more blood flow. So when we pair heat with a cardio, then the idea is we're going to improve our ability to have blood flow through our body, increasing our nutrient supply. I recommend heat over ice. So ice is a vasoconstrictor, so it makes everything smaller. So it does the opposite of the vasodilation that the heat does. So if our veins and arteries are all smaller and tighter, there's less blood flow, less nutrients getting to those muscles and tissues. So typically we're going to stay away from the ice in a recovery standpoint. So if I'm sore, I don't really want to ice. I want to increase the blood flow, not decrease the blood flow, which is what the ice is going to do. If you have any questions or comments along the way, please comment down below. I'll answer as many questions as I can. I typically use two things to recover. I use a Hypervolt massage gun, and I use a Compex, or similar brand is a Mark Pro. So a massage gun is simply what it sounds. It's a pulsating handheld device, and it's going to just vibrate and break up some of the tissue. So I like this. It makes my body feel good. It makes it feel fresh. It helps break up some of the tight tissue that is kind of gets held together over time of beating it up. So this helps break it up. They have several different heads that go on the tool, and it's a really good way to just break up the tissue if something's tight or sore. The other thing I use is a Compex, and it's simply like an electrode thing. You hook up the electrodes to the part of the body that you want, and it gives a little electrical pulse and it actually contracts the muscles. And the idea here is that you contract the muscle and you flush all the blood out, and when it relaxes, then the blood can come in and you're kind of like rinsing the muscles, old blood out, new blood in. Another really nice thing is just simply a massage. You can do this on your own body with your own hands, which is really nice, and it's just like, you know, what it sounds or what you see a typical massage parlor will do is you're just moving the muscles around, getting kind of that sore feeling out and making everything kind of just feel better, move the muscle around. Grafting or scraping is another thing that I've used in the past, and it's done by professionals, so make sure you go to a place to get this done. But what's basically happening is you're reintroducing an injury to the area to draw more nutrients to it, and it's going to help recover you further from there. So you might be sore tight, they graft it, it's going to create a little bit of a bruise effect, and then your body will recognize that easier and then recover you from there. Cupping is the other thing that I've also used, and the idea is that you're creating a suction and drawing blood to that area. So a common theme within all these recoveries is we want blood to the area to deliver the nutrients to the muscles. So grafting and cupping are two of the more invasive ways of doing this, instead of a less invasive way, maybe like your movement day, your heat, or a massage gun or a massage. So when you are picking something out, keep in mind the benefits and the negatives to that specific part of recovery, whether it's invasive or not invasive, or if you need a $300 massage gun, or if you're sufficient using your hands and a lacrosse ball. Figure out what's going to work best for you in your scenario and the part of your body that you're sore, how often you're sore. Please make note that a lot of these conversations are purely from experience. I have read some articles, but I'm not a doctor or a professional as far as the medical stuff goes. This is the stuff that I use and my current understanding of how those things work in your body and how they work towards recovery.